Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to today's Try This at Work session. My name is Kelly Cleland. I'm a Customer Success Manager with Microsoft and a Try This at Work leader. I'm also joined today by Carly Sandberg, who is a Customer Success Manager on my team, and she's also our newest Try This at Work leader. She would be moderating today, but I actually asked her because I have so much content to cover today in such a short amount of time. I asked her to I'm going to go ahead and take the intro and get us going because I have awesome content to share with you and I want to get through it quickly because we only have 30 minutes. So we're focusing on all things hybrid work in our hybrid work series. This is part 3, how Microsoft does hybrid work. Friendly reminder, again, if you have any questions, please feel free to submit them into the Q&A box, and Carly and myself will be keeping an eye on those. Additionally, if you want to share feedback on today's session, if you want to opt in for additional communications, whether it's the Try This at Work emails or retail and consumer goods emails as a whole, please click the link in the chat to opt in to our communications. We'll share that again at the end. And then just last housekeeping item, again, per usual, these are public facing events, so we don't ask for registration information. We don't capture information in any way, shape, or form unless you choose to opt in, and we will never share, disperse, or use that information in any way. All right, so with that, we are going to go ahead and we're going to get started. The first thing that I want to show you is a little video. So this is something that recently got published, and it's the way that our Microsoft campus in our headquarters actually looks now. So let's take a look.
Soccer tournament over there. It went pretty great. Got third place.
How was that yoga class you took yesterday? Pass it here.
Over here, over here.
Awesome.
Nice shot.
Hey, I'm excited to try the rice bowl today. Me too, I saw that on Viva. Hi Casey, self-attest done. Thanks, have a good day.
Hey Jasmine, did you have a chance to review that compliance document?
I did, and I ran it by legal, and there's no issues with it.
Awesome idea, Jeremiah. Can we jump on Teams and relay that to everyone else?
Definitely, Nicole. I'll book a room now.
Wait, what's that?
Don't touch it.
Oh wow, that's so cool. I need to take this next call from the focus room.
It's project screen time, people.
And the interpreter stays on screen here.
I love it. You're always thinking 2 steps ahead.
Okay, folks. How can we really make an impact?
Well, as Code Camp I volunteer at, we set up a loaner pool of Surface devices, so if you didn't have your own machine.
What have you been working on?
You know there's this new feature coming up for Teams?
All right, Ash, keep this quiet, but next month we'll release it.
All right, everyone, let's get started. Welcome all here, at home, and tuning in from different time zones.
A little disappointed Trip isn't joining us today, Jim.
Oh, you're right. Let me go get him. You're late for the meeting, little man.
What's the update, Trip? He's so big now.
Yeah, so we have the
Large black coffee for Stacy.
Thanks, that's just what I needed. Okay.
Good night, Adrian. Sweet dreams.
Welcome everyone here, at home, and tuning in later from different time zones.
All right. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Like I said, that's new. And truly, the way that the headquarters campus looks, that truly is, it's not as busy as it used to be because we are in a hybrid way of working at Microsoft. Many are working from home. Some are choosing to telecommute half the time. Really, our work has become so much more flexible. You know, that's where we are now, but what this session is really about is taking a closer look at what we learned early on. The pandemic really required fundamental changes for many businesses, such as yours, to adapt. With that, right, Microsoft was not excluded from that. As Satya says, it's a great quote, everything becomes more complex, not less complex, in hybrid work, because people need to be connected from anywhere, anytime, on any device, in person and remote. And when we think about complex, right, it's not just technically complex. There's a paradox that sort of exists here, and companies are trying to figure out how to navigate this. Again, this was something that Microsoft had to navigate. Why we want to pass on our learnings to you. So Microsoft published its annual Work Trend Index 2021 report. You can see down there at the bottom of the reference if you want to go out in it and get more information. But this was a study of more than 30,000 people in 31 countries. And 73% of the workers said that they wanted flexible remote work options, while at the same time, 67% of employees told us that they wanted more in-person collaboration with their teams post-pandemic. So we also learned that about 80% of managers said that they expect more flexible work from home policies post-pandemic. So really what we're seeing here is that employees saying they want more flexible remote work options, but at the same time, they want more in-person collaboration. And that is what this hybrid paradox is. All right, so with that in mind, we as Microsoft globally had to come together to reimagine how to empower our employees, engage customers, optimize operations, and transform products. And by the way, folks, this is a lot of the compilation of this deck, right? I am a Teams expert, but I'm not necessarily the hybrid work expert like some of our leaders are within Microsoft. But what I want to share with you today is really the findings of what we discovered, how our model changed, and then how you can apply that. And we have all that knowledge now from all of our learnings over the past year plus. Again, so we're more than happy to help you in any way that we can. So this new operating model, again, it sort of focused on 3 components: people, places, and processes. And these were the things that Microsoft knew were needed in order to thrive in a hybrid workplace. The first one we're going to start with on focus-wise is on people. So people are of such importance. They should truly be at the forefront of how you're thinking about hybrid work. It's people that power your organization. So empowering people to thrive in a more flexible workplace, it truly requires rethinking of absolutely everything: how you're empowering your managers, how you're creating culture, how are you completely reimagining the employee experience at your organization. To really compete in this new hybrid world, leaders are going to have to embrace extreme flexibility in when, where, and how people work. And that is one thing Microsoft has done, has made amazing strides on. It was really pretty flexible. There are a lot of us out in the field that have somewhat been in a hybrid state already. But right, this had to apply globally across the organization. And so some of the ways in which Microsoft embraced this extreme flexibility and shifted was they implemented a flexible work policy. So we basically gave more than 160,000 employees around the world greater choice in when, where, and how they work. That also contributes to how essentially the employee experience, from creating culture to attracting and retaining talent. Because right, people, myself included, I'm a mother, I need flexible work, and just the ways that we've shifted as an organization has just been tremendous. And that policy is great that it's been extended to so many employees at Microsoft, really so they can work the way that they need to. In addition to that flexibility, you also need digital empathy. So Microsoft wanted to make sure not only was there a clear flexible work policy that was implemented, but they also provided provided training and empowered managers and leaders to adapt to the business and their team expectations. So they created norms to embrace the flexibility, to ensure that there was inclusivity regardless of where someone was located, whether it's in person and they're close to an office, whether they're digital, regardless of the case, even from a hiring perspective in terms of flexibility, where one job maybe it was required before to actually be on site at a location, that's not the norm anymore. Basically, we can hire someone from anywhere. You know, we talked a little bit about attracting and retaining the talent. In a hybrid work world, again, people do their best work when that flexibility exists. And so when you talk about attracting and retaining talent, again, that's where the hire from anywhere for more roles, and that actually even includes leadership roles here at Microsoft. But that's also helping to expand career options. It's helping Microsoft gain access to better and more diverse talent. It's really a win-win all around. And then additionally, you've probably heard, but we're also investing in communities like we've got the new space in Atlanta, Georgia, and Reston and Houston and others. So we're really developing these hubs to nurture and grow talent. So we're really combining what is this, flexibility in the way that we're working, but we're also building and investing in communities, really helping to bridge the digital and the physical. For those of you for reference, Microsoft has a hybrid flexibility guide. It's called Hybrid Flexibility Guide, a guide for business leaders. It was actually created by Microsoft employees. It's open source, it's available today. So you can go out and take a look at that if you want to learn more. All right, so moving on. We are not the only ones that embraced extreme flexibility. A lot of customers of ours have already stepped forward and taking a strong stance on flexibility. Unilever, for instance, has a new hybrid model for its people post-pandemic. Ford is giving 30,000 employees the option to work from home forever. Dropbox is basically eliminating office space. And then at Microsoft, of course, we're allowing employees to work from home where they, essentially they're getting to make the choice. They can work from home up to 50% of the time. They can work on site. They can work remotely, really flexible in terms of choices that people are getting. All right, so with that, again, just a reminder, we're still on the people part. There's 3 dimensions of a hybrid workplace. You have your work site, your work location, and your work hours. So all employees have a work site, a work location, and hours. And the hybrid workplace assumes a mix of these work styles. That's for, regardless of where you're at in the world. And keep in mind that an individual, their needs may change or evolve over time. So it's important that when Microsoft was training its managers to think about these 3 dimensions. And also, again, the continuous learning of how we're shifting as an organization. So this is a factor into how we're shaping over time. So again, every organization is going to have a unique approach to this, but truly you should be molding your plans to what works for your employees, your culture, and your business. All right, so continuing down the path of people. So, culture is huge, and it's huge to Microsoft. They spend a lot of time, a lot of resources to make sure that there's a rich culture at Microsoft. One thing that was critical on the onset of the way we were shifting and working was to empower managers. So they're critical to ensure that, the people that they manage are continuing to invest in training, that we're giving and empowering managers to have the decision-making authority, tools, and skills that they need to lead in the transition, that they have, that they're listening, that they're helping people learn and grow, and that they're combating digital exhaustion for a lot of our employees that, Microsoft, a lot of us sort of felt up front. So let's talk about that a little bit more. So let's talk about empowering managers first. So I'm going to give you some examples here. So some of the examples that have been done, and it's been really great, for example, is giving managers the power to say, listen, no meeting Fridays. You know, schedule your meetings Monday through Thursday. Keep your calendar blocked for Fridays to focus on you, work that you need to get done. There's even half days that have been granted. It's been really amazing to see how they've empowered the managers at Microsoft, and it's really helped contribute to what is a successful hybrid workplace. They also, in this one, is I have lived it, I've seen it, where, you know, the managers, they were encouraged to adapt this model, coach, and care to really create a culture that's conducive to a flexible work environment. And they've done a phenomenal job at Microsoft. So just the investment up front from a top-down approach in terms of helping to ensure that everyone feels included and that everyone's aware of all of the policies and just the flexibility that's available, and all the resources. It's truly been amazing. And then, of course, you know, this is you know, not, it is a people thing, but it's not a manager thing. But it's also been important that employees have been embracing Viva Personal Insights, which I would say the bulk of them have. So Viva Personal Insights obviously helps us as individuals shift behaviors. And on the next session, we're going to be talking a little bit more. It's going to be the fourth part of this series, and really it's focused on the individual. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that in detail, but really helping to make sure that the managers are helping the employees see what resources are available to them to help them shift their patterns and adapt. We also have a listening system, and I know this sounds like, you know, listening system, Big Brother, but that's, I assure you, that's not the case. But obviously, right, you know, we have workplace analytics and use Viva Insights to listen to the digital heartbeat of Microsoft, right? And the reason for that, right, it's not tracking employees because you don't get down to those granular level of details. It rolls up. It's not singling out any certain person. But really, it's the digital heartbeat for tracking employee well-being and engagement. And that has been, right, that's not something that just started up front and stopped. They're continuously using that listening system. And so it's a continuous adaptation process. So everyone knows with the pandemic, we closed most of our physical Microsoft stores. So that actually led to reskilling more than 2,500 of were our store associates. So they skilled them on things like digital selling, customer support, you know, in the different verticals, retail and education and healthcare. And already over, you know, 500 of them have already accelerated to their career, in their careers into new roles at Microsoft, aligned to the program. So, right, Microsoft didn't let those people go. They adapted, they evolved, they shifted, and they supported those people to grow in their careers. And that is still ongoing. I talk to people all the time that are still in our store roles, and they're continuously getting hired and getting promoted. And it's just really amazing to see. And then the last thing, combating digital exhaustion. So I think, you know, this is a big one for managers, right? And for people. You know, burnout was definitely on the rise at the very beginning. So it was really important that as a part of the insights, right, that there was a lens to see as a whole from a team perspective or department perspective, okay, how much are we seeing after hours work trends or weekend trends or overload, any meeting overloads or anything like that? So that way the managers and the leaders could shift and say, listen, we want you to use your focus days, your extra days off. We want you taking breaks in between meeting. We want to implement a best practice that our meetings are scheduled for 50 minutes instead of an hour, or 25 minutes instead of 30 minutes. So again, having this plan to empower the managers has been really critical to sort of creating the culture that we're in right now, and embracing that flexibility. All right, so obviously can't go without talking about Microsoft Teams. Teams has been critical not only to Microsoft shifting in this hybrid way of working, but obviously for our customers. And having this single collaboration and communication tool has been just critical to keep us all moving forward, right? Where you can meet, you can chat, you can call, you collaborate, and you can automate through apps as well. In addition to that, so Microsoft Viva, which I know you all have been hearing a lot about, but it was, you know, in 2020, it was also it surfaced obviously that we had to create an overall employee experience platform that was going to really empower people in this hybrid work state. So Viva was launched. So it's built right on top of Teams. So basically, you know, that helps individuals find everything that they need already within their flow of work because people spend their day in Teams. So it connects them to the people, the culture, finding balance and well-being, and empowering employees to do their best work. All right, so now we're going to take a look at places. So obviously the shift to hybrid work also requires transforming physical places. So you know that, and it was obvious in the last example, we were talking about some of our customers, that you can't just rely solely on physical location to collaborate, connect, or build your social capital. But we also know that spaces and places are still important because people still want to come together, as you saw the hybrid paradox. People still want to come together to collaborate and brainstorm and talk about their experiences, talk about their work. So it's really key to build flexibility into your spaces and try to bridge the gap between the physical and the digital, which I know is not an easy thing to do. And so with Microsoft, just talking a little bit about our approach, that really begun with protecting the safety of all employees. So let's talk about that. So keeping employees safe was a first priority for Microsoft. So we obviously used our own Microsoft Power Platform to build no low-code apps, but specifically the return to workplace solution. So this workplace solution essentially helps us, it enables the employees to self-attest to health and well-being, to book a work or meeting space, to receive a day pass, show vaccine credentials or COVID test results. So it's been really great for those that are returning into a physical space, you know, just to make sure that it's a safe environment for everyone. We also, and just talking about return to workplace and some other things, you know, we have healthcare organizations that are using Microsoft's vaccination management app to manage the end-to-end process for screening, scheduling, and administration, and also follow-ups to bring people back to the worksite safely. We leverage Power BI dashboards to analyze data, to determine how many people should be allowed at a worksite and when. You know, we've equipped buildings, our meeting rooms, and other spaces with privacy-sensitive occupancy sensors to monitor capacities, right? It's not tracking the individual. It's only looking like, hey, how many bubbles are in the room? Do we have too many? You know, providing a single travel booking portal where all employees can book and manage their work travel. You know, and that's important to know because if an emergency occurs, you know, it's important to know where people are. Also, you think about new employees coming in and returning to the work and literally have never been on campus before. So we've got wayfinding tools for work sites, leveraging Azure Maps, so they can easily find their way to meetings, to office spaces and conference rooms that they literally have never been to before. And then obviously, you know, it's a lot of requests from customers for booking workstations and touchdown spaces. You know, also ensuring that employees can work securely during non-standard hours. So we also have equipped spaces with additional cameras and sensor security staff and access measures. So a lot that we've done in terms of workplace safety and how we've shifted. But again, a lot of that was aligned to the physical space, but we can't rely solely on the physical location to collaborate and connect anymore. Physical spaces, yes, they need to be there, but they need to be designed for people not in the room. So just talking a little bit about, for example, Microsoft Teams rooms. So they are, you know, what we consider this to be state-of-the-art conference rooms, designed to sort of meet this hybrid working meeting experience where everyone is able to fully participate no matter where they join from. So some of the features that have been implemented in these, right, because inclusivity was of the utmost importance. So live captions, live transcription, raise your hand, live reactions, chat, these are all features that were included because of the way that we've shifted work. There's also advanced cameras, rich audio that focuses on bringing forward the active speaker, and use of chat add-ons for nonverbal context, insights, and reactions. So you all have probably seen a lot of these features, in addition to Microsoft Whiteboard providing a digital canvas. You know, you can ink in the room, you can ink online. There's ways to inclusively participate in all meetings. You know, we want to make sure that, and you should be making sure that as you're designing your spaces, that you're creating spaces that create an experience where everyone is fully represented, where the connections feel natural and where they feel immersive. And you probably saw, just kind of briefly touching on Ignite, that you know, we just talked about Microsoft Mesh. So that's our new mixed reality platform, which enables individuals to interact holographically in a very natural way without actually being on camera, which, you know, some folks are really, really excited about. Some are good being on camera, others are not. So again, when we're looking at inclusivity, just making sure that everybody's coming to the table and showing up in the way that they want to. All right, so kind of looking back at the physical space. So again, as you're thinking about this, and as Microsoft thought about this and is continuing to think about this, spaces have to be designed, again, that bridge the physical and digital, and it has to be able to be flexible enough that it continues to evolve with the employee needs. So I know that you're just like, how do you do that? What do we do? You know, couple things to really think about. First thing, you're going to need to think about having spaces, right? You're going to have formalized meetings just as you did before. But one thing that we learned early on is that we need to have a lot more smaller ad hoc sort of gathering spaces, and making sure that even in those smaller ad hoc spaces, that those spaces are also equipped, again, for those that may be remote, to make sure that it feels like everyone is in the room. Also transforming your spaces into you know, physical spaces that are intelligent and cloud powered. So kind of a little bit about what I talked about before, but here at Microsoft, we're embracing facilities as a service. We use workplace analytics, Azure Digital Twins, and Azure IoT that really helps build the brains to the smart buildings that I sort of talked about on that last slide. And again, everything with privacy at the forefront, our smart buildings, you know, we clearly make sure that we are protecting individuals and the employees and not infringing on anyone's rights. So just things for you to think about as you may be, you know, in the process of planning your design or your return to work. So in summary, when we think about physical spaces, Microsoft, as well as many of our customers, they're rationalizing their physical space. They are asking us, you know, we want to make sure this is designed for people, you know, not in the room as well as people in the room. So if you want to have additional discussions on that, we'd be more than happy to share, you know, information in more detail. With some customer references, please feel free to ask. All right, now that was places. So now we are going to go on to processes. Oh, and by the way, I forgot, I put this in there. So this is Microsoft Mesh, just a preview of that if you haven't seen any of the Ignite videos. So again, you're sort of seeing the way here with Mesh that we can connect from anywhere. We can feel the presence from, you know, holo portations to avatars. You know, it's really bringing mixed reality into the experience about how we're connecting. So super cool. I would highly recommend you go out and check out Microsoft Mesh and learn more about that if you have not seen that update. All right, so now final area is process transformation. And I'm wrapping up here, so I promise I'll try to keep this short. So it's really important that you reimagine all the processes in your hybrid work environment. Use Teams to transform your business, right? That is your organization layer for the way people work, learn, and collaborate. We obviously, even at Microsoft, Teams has transformed the way that we do business. So obviously, if you've attended Ignite, you know that it's completely online now. Again, store associates are using Teams, leverages virtual showroom to demo products. Our technical specialists, even us as CSMs, we're using Teams to bring our expertise to our meetings. In addition to that, Power Platform is blowing up. The automation that is happening and how it's transforming these businesses and the ROI attached to that is absolutely phenomenal. One of the ways that we were able to shift so quickly and transform our business processes is because Microsoft was able to virtually shift overnight because of the fact that we were already in the cloud. So moving everything into the cloud is going to enable more flexible ways of working, right? Managing identities, devices, endpoints, everything that you can possibly digitize is only going to help you. And then, of course, you can't forget about security on the back end. So at Microsoft, we embrace the zero trust model. I'm not going to go too deep into that, but obviously security is also at the forefront, a lot of what we do from a hybrid work perspective. All right, with that, because I'm running out of time, the future at work is hybrid, and it's been fully embraced at Microsoft. We will continue to share our learnings. Researchers are continuing to monitor and learn and share, and we will continue to share with you all. As always, we are more than happy to partner with you. We want you to be successful with your new hybrid way of working. And we thank you for your time and hope that this was a valuable session. I don't think any actual questions came through. So, thank you again for your time. Just a quick reminder. So the next session is going to be on the 11th. So that is the fourth part in the series, which will wrap us up with thriving in a hybrid workplace. So again, this is focused on you as an individual. And then we have our Ignite recap on December the 2nd. And we are going to take a break until the new year. But again, as always, all of our events are posted on demand at TryThisAtWork, and we look forward to seeing you on the next event.